if you suspect that you might have what's called an anxious attachment style. And this is where you're dating somebody and it's going well through the first few dates, but the more it progresses, the deeper you get, the more emotionally involved you get with this person, you start noticing that when you're coming home from these dates, you're having thoughts like, oh, this is too good to be true. Or like, when is this thing gonna end? What am I gonna find out that I don't like about this person? Or if they find something out about me, then they're gonna reject me. You'll start to notice this negative spiraling of thoughts and this fear, this anxiety rise up because you don't feel like you're on solid footing. And ultimately, as you know, that attachment style comes from often when we're kids not getting the love, the support, the care that we need, not feeling stable and solid in our primary relationships with our parents. And it might not just have developed in childhood. It could also come from traumatic experiences in adulthood as well. Regardless, there are some things that you can do if you have that anxious attachment style to help calm your nerves and position yourself in the relationship to have the best possible outcome. And the first thing that you want to look at is whether or not those thoughts that you're having, like, oh, this is too good to be true, or this is going to end soon, or what's wrong with this person, you want to notice whether those thoughts are fears or whether those thoughts are your intuition. Because your intuition is going to guide you into a life that you love. Your intuition is spirit guiding you. It's protecting you. It's wanting to help you have the life that you would love. The fear is trying to sabotage you. The fear is trying to hold you back from your goal. So how do you know the difference between one or the other? Should you listen to these thoughts or not? Well, know this. The fear is going to be frantic. It's going to be loud. It's going to be aggressive in its tone with you. Intuition is never that way. Intuition is soft. Intuition is often quiet in its tone. Intuition is sourced in love. Intuition is sourced in support. Fear is saying, look out. You're going to get really hurt if you go in this direction. You should run the other way. Things like that. Your intuition is going to say, maybe this isn't right. Maybe you should move in this other direction to have the life that you love. So that's the first key. It's pretty easy when you start to get familiar with this of feeling, is this fear-based or is this love-based? Fear is fear-based. Intuition is based in love. So once you've established that, no, this is simply just a fear thought, the second thing you can do is reestablish your point of peace. See, when we have an anxious attachment style, what ends up happening is we want reassurance from the other person. Like we want them to validate the relationship. We want them to validate their feelings for us. I was having a conversation with one of my clients who self-described as anxious attachment style, and she ended up meeting this guy. And they had this great connection. They dated for a couple of months, super chemistry with this guy, best guy she dated in a long time. And then one day, he completely ghosts her. Like, I couldn't believe it. And I've been doing this a long time. This guy set a new bar in what's possible when it comes to ghosting. I couldn't believe it because they had been talking every day, going out all the time, having this. And she knew he wasn't dead because she was seeing him post on social media. So it really rocked her. So she went through this beautiful resilience process, forgiveness process, and brought herself back to a place of, okay, she's ready to date again. And so she meets a new guy and they start dating and it's awesome and it's going on. Now they've been dating 4 months. And just recently she was on a call with me and she's like, I'm noticing that I'm wanting his reassurance. I want him to tell me how great we are and how much he likes me and all of this. And she goes, when I stop and I listen to the source of that idea, super important. What's the source of that thought? Is it based in insecurity and fear, or is it based in love? And she realized, she was like, I know that that's really based in my fear that while this is so great, what if it ends one day? While it's so great, what if he ghosts me like this other guy did? And so reestablishing your point of peace is taking back your power. In other words, recognizing that there isn't enough acknowledgement someone could give you. There isn't enough affirmation that they could give you to truly give what you're ultimately looking for, which is that you're going to be okay. No matter what happens, you and spirit are going to be able to work it out. And so I asked this client, I said, how do you want to feel if he were to give you all the things that you want him to say? How are you wanting to feel on the other side of that conversation? And she goes, well, I want to feel relaxed and secure and at peace. And I said, okay, what would you need to believe in order to feel relaxed, secure, and at peace? And she said, well, I would need to feel like it's all going to work out between us. And I said, that's where the problem is. Because when it comes to love and relationships, there is no guarantee. Even if he chose you, even if it all worked out, guess what the next insecurity is going to be? The next insecurity is, what if this person dies? What if they get in a car accident? What if they're taken from me in some regard? When you've got that anxious attachment style and you place your source of power in somebody else, your source of peace in somebody else, that anxious attachment paradigm is always going to be able to get you by saying, what if this happens? What if that happens? And you are ravaged by that anxiety. So instead of thinking the thought, it's all going to work out, because the paradigm can attack that one, say this: if it's meant to be, it will work out. But no matter what happens, Spirit and I, we can handle this. If it's meant to be, it will work out. But no matter what happens, Spirit and I can handle this. Because you're placing your source of peace within yourself, within Spirit, your connection to your higher power. And so in that moment, she goes, well, I know that, but I have trouble believing that. And I said, well, let's go back in time. You remember when you met the first guy that you dated and how awesome that was and how devastated you were when he ghosted you? And she was like, yeah, I remember that. And I said, and you started to work with the belief that what if there could be something even better in store for me? And at first you didn't believe it. At first it was like, how could there be someone even, I had so much chemistry with that guy. How could there be something even better? And I said, let me ask you this. The guy that you're with now compared to that other guy, how are things? And she was like, oh, this is 1,000 times better. She goes, I love this relationship. It's amazing. And so I said, so there you go. You already have evidence that no matter what happens, you and your higher power are going to be okay. And the best is yet to come. And then that led me right to the next step with her. And I said, I understand it's hard to do and believe, but that's the key, is you have to turn this new idea into an anchored belief in you. See, the anxious attachment style is simply there because of an old experience that says, look, when you love somebody, they're not going to be there for you. They're going to leave you. You're going to get hurt. It's based in a past experience. It does not have to be your present reality or your future experience. And the way you shift it is to build a new belief system that says, no, you are worthy of love and it can happen for you. And whatever happens, you're going to be okay. And the way you do that is by firing and wiring this new thought and new belief. And so what you can do is you can place your hands over your heart. You can take a deep breath in. And you send yourself a warm beam of love. And you say, I love myself, I accept myself. And then you speak your affirmation that whatever happens in this moment, I'm going to be okay. My higher power in me, we are going to be okay. And you ground yourself and you move forward. And what happens is as you do that and you anchor in this deeper sense of confidence in yourself, you notice your anxiety go down. The need or the craving for that affirmation from the other person goes down. Doesn't mean you don't enjoy it when they give it to you. Doesn't mean you don't affirm each other. But the anxiety attached to it is way less and you're able to enjoy the relationship way more. So I hope this serves you. I encourage you to put it on, practice it. And my question for you is, if you have ever felt anxious in a relationship, what's worked for you? What have you found are the top practices that really reduce that anxious attachment style and move you into a place of peace? I would love to check out and hear your thoughts. Post those in the comments below. And know this, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.